And the wait is over. We are back with racing in 2026. The season kicks off with the Porsche Cup. Dynamic conditions, 8 iconic tracks, drivers through the Caribbean and the world fighting for glory in the new revamped Porsche Cup. This is promising to be the best season yet at the JSRA as we lead into season 2 with the GT3 Championship. Drivers fighting for the top step of the podium. They've returned for the fight and the glory will be theirs. And side by side, the two drivers as it's a sprint race down the Kemmel Straight. And Michael Charles now sends a move down the inside into turn 7. Huge lockup. Maris Garcia sees the error and runs away with it. 7 Mile Racing chasing in the background for P1. The season begins January 23rd, 2026. Sponsored by Shotels. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2026 season. We are now live and kicking as the drivers have gone out for the first qualifying session of 2026. And what a season this is calling to be. We have 8 rounds on the way. We have Road Atlanta right now as the first track of the season. We have lone qualifying here this evening. We're riding along board now with Daniel Marino, but we'll watch and see the first driver to get going on this season's race, or on the qualifying, let me say. We have 10 minutes. We've done it as a lone qualifying for the season just to make sure that the drivers, with the exuberant amount, we've been overclocked with the amount of persons that we've had to register for this championship. So we ride along now with Miguel Beltran, who has set the benchmark, as a matter of fact, with a 1:18.53. Now the fastest time all season practice, let me say, has been a 1:17.9, 1:17.8 done by Jaden Harrison. So the times are going in. Jaden Harrison has taken over that top step right behind Miguel. So we watch along. We have the timing tower below to kind of keep abreast of what is happening right now. 8 drivers have put a time on the board, and they are going to be fighting it for the top step on the podium to start this race. We have Team JSRA in Jaden Harrison and Daniel D. Roberts. The two will be fighting it for JSRA Team Alpha and JSRA Team Omega in Kurt Moss, the fan favorite, and Taj Edwards. So we have a monster lineup on the way. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Edwin Valerino, one of the newest drivers in the JSRA now. He's been representing in the Panama region and he is rapid. As we see there, Estefano putting the fastest lap on the board so far. So we'll ride along board with the Noble Racing. The 2 Colombians topping the charts at the moment. Jaden Harrison in P3, but you know what, let's watch him as he begins his lap. We'll take a little on board as we watch and continue. They have 3 total laps for the session, but 10 minutes in total. So far, the Colombians taking the top 3 positions on the podium. And Jaden there was on a rapid lap, but loses it there in sector 2. Had almost about 4 corners to go. And he heads back to the pits. Doesn't lose, so he has 2 more laps to go. 1 will be an out lap, however. What will be it for the Jamaicans? Daniel Roberts there. Rapid driver as well. We've seen him in the past make some very rapid moments in the iRacing platform. That's all he races, as a matter of fact. You will see him with the uh, with his Canadian flag there, but he is born in Jamaica, migrated, and has lived in Canada for the majority of his tenure or his life, let me say. As he heads down now, will be a downhill into the chicane, into the final section of this track. Dan Robb representing for Team Alpha for Shotel and the Jamaica Simulation Racing Association. He sits now in P6. And good lap so far. Comes across the line, moves up into P5. Jaden Harrison in P4. Jaden is in the pits though. So that's going to be interesting to watch. We'll turn on quickly the timing tower, or let me say the timing stats, so we know how much time is remaining. 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Edwin Valerino driving for GT Panama, one of the fastest drivers out there in Panama, racing with that Golf livery. You know, they've been racing in that for the past few months now. I think that's his last lap. Trinidad and Tobago driver, Calypso Racing Community, CRC, Mr. Declan Daniel, Dominic Charles as well, and Peter Arundel representing for their region, comes to an end of his lap. So it looks like these drivers are just wrapping up their qualifying session. It looks as if everybody has gotten through their 3 laps. So Vincent Da Silva, no, he hasn't set an indicative lap as yet. So we ride along board with him. He's supposed to be at least in the top 10. Can he break the mark here? And we do have with us this evening Mr. Rohey Robinson, joining us in the commentary booth. Well, typically is in the on the racetrack, but this time he's joining us in the commentary booth. So we will have him out in a second. I'm just double checking the audio with him. And Rohey, can you hear us? Perfect, brother. I'm so grateful to have you. Let me just make sure that we can get you clearly. Yes, sorry. Can you go ahead? Yes.
Mic check.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be here for once in the commentary booth. So nice to have me. Thank
Well,
you.
well, right now we have 3 Colombians on the podium, followed by 2 Jamaicans and then another Colombian. What are your thoughts so far?
I'm not worried. I know that Estefano and Felipe Gil, they're really fast. So I'm not surprised that they're on top. But I mean, it's practice. So we will see the real deal during qualifying to see who has a chance to win this first race.
Well, no, I'm sorry to to disappoint you. This is the end of qualifying. We're heading into the race now.
This is
As a
the end
matter
of
of fact, ladies and gentlemen, please excuse if he's just coming in onto the session. But yes, this is the end of qualifying.
Wow. So Colombia 1, 2, 3. This is a surprise.
Yes, sir. So
And I'm sure they will be working together to try to lock out that podium spot. So let's see how it goes.
absolutely. Your competitor or typical competitor, Luis Daniel Velez, teammate of Estefano, I believe, sits in P20, right behind Kyle Barrett. We have 36 drivers on track this evening. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it seems that Daniel is having a bit of a trouble, but knowing Daniel, he usually gains back the position during the race. So He's at P20 now, but I'm expecting him to finish in top 10.
Well, brother, that was a very interesting session so far. But right now, Estefano does top the field, 117.812. We've seen Jaden touch the 117.8s as well. So maybe just didn't get a good lap. He's 2 tenths down. Daniel Moreno sits in P2, a tenth down, as well as Felipe Yil sits in P3. The three Colombians top the podium as the session continues. We'll be heading into the first race. Now we have two sprint races coming, Rohe. One 20-minute sprint race followed by a 20-minute, reverse grid with the top 10.
Reverse grid.
Yes, sir.
I see.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the reverse grid will be interesting. But I'm more interested in the first race because this is a surprise start grid for me. As you can see, I wasn't expecting Trinidad, the first place Trinidad and Tobago driver, Dominic Charles or Michael Charles. The two Charles brothers, I would say, are sitting in P12 and P13. So I expected them to be more up in the grid. So let's see what turns out.
Absolutely. And the drivers are preparing to go racing.
Green, green, green.
And it is now green light racing. As a matter of fact, that was quick. And Estefano starts the grid very rapid. Jaden Harrison has already made up a position. Noble Racing all the way through. And who's that in P5? That's Daniel Roberts. So he is Jaden Harrison's teammate. And they look good to start this race. Jaden up into P3. And the battle...
Jaden just needs
Yes.
He needs to be patient, I would say. So sit behind third and just see what happens.
Absolutely, and it's a very interesting start now. Jaden just looking down the back of Daniel Moreno, but even further down the pack, we have battles all the way through as we see the drivers coming up through and through, just trying to keep up with the action here. And we will have a replay at some point. That's a beautiful portion of our racing. We get every view, every incident. So once the action kind of dies down a little bit, we'll definitely check it out. Edwin Ballerino sits in P7 in his debut here at the JSRA. Looking forward. Daniel Velez has jumped to the pits. So we look to see what had happened there. Maybe had an incident in the start of the race. But there's a battle going on right now between Daniel Moreno and Jaden Harrison. Jaden Harrison on the inside, pushed wide, and now Felipe Yil does take a look, gets pushed wide by his teammate, and there's contact! Jaden, the Colombian and the Jamaican, out of this race. That was early. Ooh.
And a crash.
Oh, that is dramatic. To start the race, Daniel, his teammate, moves up into 3. Taj Edwards now sits in P6. Kurt Moss, though, where's Kurt Moss? Kurt Moss is all the way in P35. It looks like he's retired. So the two Jamaican teams, one driver from each team has dropped out so far, with a top 10 reverse grid to come. Estefano running away with it now. Felipe Yil was the best winner of that, moved from P4 up into P2. And there's a battle between Freddy Rodriguez and Ramiro Dominguez, as Freddy didn't make the move, or lost the position, my apologies, on Ramiro, but not giving it up too quickly. Dominic Charles there right behind, and Peter Arundel. Where's Michael Charles? Oh, Michael Charles is actually there in P7. So he's one of the biggest winners of this so far. But there you see Ramiro there looking on the inside as ahead now. No, and that's Dominic Charles now looking to see if he can make the move on Ramiro Dominguez, a GT Panama driver, wants to go defensive, doesn't want to go through too wide, especially through turns 1, 2, and 3. Turn 3 being the aggressor of all. Everybody being extremely cautious there, thank God. And right now the racing continues on, because even Daniel Roberts 2 tenths behind the likes of Felipe Yil, or 5 tenths now. Just looking through the field to see, but let's just try well, can we even take an eye off the action? Because even Miguel Beltran right now is looking right there behind the JSRA driver in Dan Robb. As I head down the hill now, Dan Robb does go defensive, holds that position for now. Miguel hounding the likes of the Jamaican Canadian, takes a look on the inside, looking as if he's trying to force him wide. Does make the move on the inside. Now he's going to be run down to turn one. Turn one. My apologies. Dan Robb does go wide. And he loses, has to concede the position. Even right now, Edwin Valerino right there just waiting to see if he can pounce on the likes of the Jamaican in front of him. Dan Robb there, sorry, my apologies, fixing something on Discord. But Dan Robb clearly had an incident there. We want to take looks at the replays, but the action just won't stop. Dan Robb now relegated down to P12. Points do go up to P15, however. That's Nathan Bryan of Ken Racing trying to make the move on the Jamaican. Right now, Freddie Rodriguez as well, though, chasing the likes of Edwin Valerino. This is Dominican Republic versus Panama. Kurt Moss is back on the track. So clearly a lap 1 incident. We'll take a look at it at some point. Only 5 minutes has elapsed. Oh my word. Mikhail Charles there hunting down the two Spanish drivers in front of him. In Freddie and Edwin Valerino in front. Not too far behind him is his other teammate, 7 Mile Racing driver Dominic Charles of Trinidad and Tobago. These two, we have 4 Trinidadians there, just closing in. Miro lost a few positions, but is making his move slowly but surely. So let's take a quick look now at what had happened at the start of this race. And we got to take a look back at whatever happened to Dan Robb, as well as Mr. Kurt Moss. They're trying to fight the likes of the Jamaican driver. Dan Robb not giving an inch though. Dan Robb is sitting in that slipstream, but the damage to that. Ooh! And Ramiro gone! What had happened there between the two? Was it netcode? Was it an incident? I can't tell you. Was it over aggression? Rohe, what do you think?
I think he's trying to make up for the lost places in the first part, so he's driving a little bit aggressively, trying to make up as much places as possible. So it seems like lack of patience, I would say.
And I could say the same. It looked like a very aggressive move. I'm sure we'll be hearing about it in the stewarding room post-race. Yeah, this has not been the race for the Jamaicans. Taj Edmonds as well. He's moved up into P4. This car looks very good as well.
That's good to see. I expected him to, try to make his way to the top. So he is the top place Jamaican right now.
Absolutely. The next one down is Nathan Bryan in P11, but Trinidad and Colombia have been the dominating countries here this evening for round 1. What a dramatic start. Let's take a quick look at the beginning of the race. Let's just get it from the blimp view or the chopper view. And at the beginning of the race here, everything seemed to happen around P20. Where was Kurt Moss as well? He was in P26. So This is very anticlimactic. So we'll just follow the live race until for now because it's looking like the two between Estefano and Felipe. We'll take a look at it in simple. That feels like that's going
And Miguel Beltran, is it?
Yes.
He's in P3 at the moment.
Yes, he
What
is.
country is he from?
He's a Colombian
No,
as well.
Colombia. Wow. So Colombia is running 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
Yeah, this has been the evening for the Colombians, clearly. Alright, so this is the start. And just want to see what could have had happened that would have caused all these incidents in the. Ooh, and that's a Colombian there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was the start. Anyways, the replays aren't working as out of hope, so let's just tune into the action right now because drivers are catching up to each other. So Dan Robb is still chasing down now Nathan Bryan. He has another position to gain there. Peter Arundel chases down his countryman, that's his teammate for this evening, Dominic and Mikhail. So even though it's 4 Trinidadian drivers, the 7 Mile Racing team is out of the Cayman Islands. So Dominic Charles and Mikhail Charles themselves racing for the 7 Mile Racing team. And looking very good and promising here this evening. Tasha Edwards is now in the back of Eddie Ballerino. Rodriguez still chasing him down as well. Mikhail Charles not too far. Mikhail and Dominic started P13 and P12 if I remember correctly. Now in the top 10, 7th and 8th. I know Mikhail was excited for what was going to happen here this evening. We would have expected this, but there goes Tasha Edwards. Carefully inside that moves up on. Well, Freddie was trying to get him on Tasha, my apologies. And this is giving Edwin a little bit of space now because right now Freddie taking a look on the inside and does send the move, but Tash not giving that one up. And this is going to be the places that you want to definitely be looking forward at here in this portion of the race.
And they have to be careful at this point because there are 4 Trinidadians coming. So one wrong move will send through all 4.
At this point, it's Colombia top 3, and the final 4 are for the Trinidadian drivers. 1 Jamaican in the top 10. Taj Edwards has regressed a little bit. He did have, or he is having some computer issues. Had to borrow one last minute, so hopefully that's not what's giving him trouble here this evening. But we know him to be a rapid driver. We'll see him come up sooner than later. And we know he's one that will pressure the likes of anybody in front of him. But now Declan again. Declan is not on team. Well, Declan and Peter are on the same team in CRC. But they're not on team with the 2 in front of them in Dominic and Mikhail Charles. So, as much as they're countrymen and friends, we may see them fighting sooner than later for position, especially as we've gotten past the halfway mark. We have 7 minutes remaining. This race feels longer than I'd have expected.
It was a pretty dramatic start, I'd say.
Absolutely. And I feel like even now, as we go through the field, there's so many gaps closer and closer. This is Vincent Da Silva chasing the likes of Colombian and Andres Quevedo. So this is going to be one to watch as well. We'll monitor that. But right now, Peter Arundel hounding the likes of his countryman in Dominic Charles. Just sitting and waiting on a moment to make a move further up the field. Kurt Moss is back on the track. It's coming up to the likes of the 7-mile racing team in 25 and 24. Can take a quick look what's happening at the back there, which there Kurt Moss moving up into 23, and he is right behind Ron Green. Kimani Eastman off Ken Racing as well, has some work to do, but right now driving on his own.
But Simon, top 3, what is your thought? Do you think they're going to dominate the whole season?
Listen, we've had events with them in the past. I can say for sure that
Felipe Gil, I can bring.
it's obviously came back to Jetting here this evening. So yeah, I believe it's a brilliant start for the Colombians. We know Felipe Gil as far as what was it, Chase for Pace in 2023. We know Estefano. He's been in the top split of every event that we've ever had, from the CTCCs all the way down. So we know that they're going to be rapid, but I'm not counting out our drivers just yet. Jaden had the pace to fight, as well as Dan Robb. I'm sure even he will not be happy at the outcome of what we've seen tonight. Neither Kurt Moss and Taj Edwards. So I think this is going to be the humbling moment to start the championship. It begins hot. Let's see how it ends.
And who knows, this could be, the type of race that unlocks, certain unknown skill that the drivers have. So revenge can be somewhat of a motivating factor to do better. So let's see what happens in the seasons to come.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's very early predictions, but you see what had happened from qualifying to now. Do you have any long-term goals that you want to follow at the end of the season?
Well, not at this point, because I'm in the commentary booth now. I don't want to, jinx anyone or give the commentators curse. So I'll keep stuff for now. Let's see the battle ahead.
Absolutely. And this battle is going on now between Taj and Mikhail Charles, and not just them, but Dominic Charles as well. The two 7-mile racing teaming up on the Jsra driver, and this looks very promising because there goes Declan Daniel to make the move up on Mikhail Charles. Mikhail loses 2, trying to go for 1. Dominic now trying his luck to see, but Declan saw his opportunity and took it and ran with it. Moves up into P8. Right now, Taj Edwards, he is putting on a whirl of defense, trying his best to keep it as clean as possible, but the drivers behind him, man, hounding him, and there's a whole line of drivers from P7 all the way down to P11. So he's gonna have to put on the boosters, as there is Dan Robb, Jsra Alpha, sitting behind the traffic in front.
What time?
Yeah.
What I'm seeing from is Robert. He's he's sporting the Canadian flag. Can you tell us something about that?
Right, so we were mentioning it earlier. He is a Jamaican, but he resides in Canada. So, and as we speak, we're just taking a look now as Mikhail Charles tries to make the move on Declan Daniel and does make it stick. And while we were talking, it seems as if Dominic has made a move stick on Taj. So Dominic moves up into P6, Taj into P7. Mikhail Charles now going to try his luck again. As of Dominic, Dominic Charles, Mikhail Charles going to take his chance again on Taj Edwards. But
You
yeah, as I
know,
was saying, he is a Jamaican but currently resides in Canada. I think lived in Canada for the most of his life, but visits Jamaica very often.
would you consider him Jamaican or Canadian? What's the story?
Him very much so.
Oh, the stewards have a job at hand. After the race, this is going to be interesting.
20 minutes race, this much drama. I can't wait for race two.
Grid. The reverse grid is where I'm going to be very excited now, Rohi, because Estefano will be chopping through the field from P10. Felipe Gil as well. Where's Jaden Harrison? He's out of the mix. So let's just consider this no points for him this evening, and keep in mind as well as the race does come to a conclusion. Estefano comes around to finish his race in P1. Felipe Gil in P2. Miguel Beltran. That looks like a blue flag there. Finishes off in P3. Yes. Edwin Valerino comes around the final corner as well. P4. The Dominican driver in. Freddy Rodriguez comes in P5. Dominic, Declan, Kale, and Dan Robb. P6, P7, P8, P9. And Peter Arundel to finish off in P10. David Tuta. Haven't spoken much about him all race, but he finishes off in P11. Taj Edwards, disappointing for him, man. That was heartbreak for him. Juan Jose Aquez, late to the party, but his debut here finishes off in P13. Shannon Dotton made his debut in the Le Mans Ultimate, has been a good friend of ours now. Javier Brandao and Vincent Da Silva of GT Panama in P15, P16. Andres Quevedo in P17. Carol Aiton of 7 Mile Racing in P18. Nathan Bryan in P19. Kimani Eastman in P20. Julian Narcisse in P21, Kurt Moss in P22, Kavan Thomas Green in P23, Joel Santamaria in P24, Javier Salazar in P25, Nicholas Donald rounds out the grid. Out of 36, 10 to retire. 26 have made it to the end. Estefano Barrero taking the first round. We have about 5 minutes of a break here now. Rohit, what a beginning to the series, man. How was it for you?
Epic. I was confused throughout the entire race. Like action upon action, action at the front, action in the middle, action at the back. I don't know how you do it honestly. You try to get the action for the race. And while commentating, that's super job, Steve. I don't know how you do it. The race was epic. Yeah. this was epic. It was a lot of incidents, I would say. But I don't know what the stewards will say about these incidents, if it could be avoided or, the drivers need to take care a bit more. But apart from that, we really did see some really nice passes from the drivers, so drivers did well.
And well, with the results from the first race, we can actually just go over it quickly and show that on the stream.
Yeah, let's do that.
There's about 5 minutes left of warm up. So right now it's about a 5 minute break for the drivers to even just get a little break, get some water, just kind of start over. But in the meantime, we'll just go through the grid. Not sure if you're seeing it, Rohe, but Estefano Barrero did start off in or finish off in P1, followed by Miguel Beltran, who finished off in P2, Edwin Valerino in Miguel Beltran in P3, sorry, Edwin Valerino in P4, Freddy Mira Rodriguez in P5, Dominic Charles in P6. He and Mikhail Charles came back from P12 and P13, finished off in P6 and P8. Declan Daniel of Calypso Racing Community finishes off in P7, Daniel Roberts in P9, Peter in P10, David Tuta in P11, Taj Edwards, disaster at the closer to the end, as a matter of fact, between himself and Mikhail Charles. We'll definitely look at the replay in the interview room at the end of the race. But David Tuta in P11, Peter Arundel of CRC in P10, Taj Edwards P12, Juan Jose Aguez P13, Shannon Dotton P14, Javier Brandao P15, Vincent Da Silva of GT Panama in P16, Andres finished off in P17. I think that's Quevedo. We'll double check that in a second. Carol Eiton in P18. Nathan Brand rounds out the top 20 in the championship. Kimani Eastman was in P20. Julian Narcisse in P21. Kurt Moss in P22. And Kevon Green in P23. Joel Santamaro P24. Francisco Garcia in P25. And Nicholas Donald to round off the grid in P26. Whew. Rohi, we have 20 more minutes, bro.
Wow. Top 10. The Trinidadians are, they have the top spots to start with, so we should see some good defense from the team there. They'll be hounded by Daniel Roberts as well. He's in the mix. And also the three Colombians on podium, they will be vying for the top spot. So we should see some action at the front.
You know what I'm going to be very interested in watching, though? Jaden Harrison. He is going to come back for race 2. Where do you think he's going to finish, starting basically in last?
I should think he should be able to get into the top 10.
In the top 10?
The last time I predicted, I think it's a commentator's curse, but Daniel Velez, where did he finish? I did predict he will be top 10. Where did he finish?
Yeah, he did not finish, unfortunately.
Wow. I think that is my fault.
Well, guess what though, Rohe? Starting up in a few minutes is round 2, race 2. And guess what? The best part of this league, which is going to be very interesting in the long run, the points go to, it's not halved. So the same points that you get from race 1 is what you get in race 2. So the battle is not over for Daniel Roberts, who sits in P2 right behind Peter Arundel. Mikhail Charles, who finished in P8, very good points. He starts in P3. Declan Daniel in P4. Dominic Charles, who fought through the pack, he starts in P5. Freddy Rodriguez in P6, Edwin Valerino in P7, Miguel Beltran in P8, Felipe Yil in P9, and Estefano in P10. So this is going to be a fun start to the race. Drivers are gridding. We're about to go racing. We follow along with Estefano. Jaden is in P31, and the race is off. Somebody slept on the line there. And
Wow.
Daniel, who is that? That is Michael Charles going down the grid. Luckily not too dramatic. But Freddy Rodriguez has made up a few positions there.
And Jaden is out again once more.
Oh my gosh. I heard him in the background. Taj Edwards has made a move up. He's now in P10. Right behind him in Felipe Yil. Felipe is fighting Juan Jose Aquez. Felipe had to make some moves to get out of the way. But Peter now being hounded by Daniel Robb. Right behind them, Miguel Beltran versus Estefano. That's going to be another battle that we'll watch along board now with these drivers. As Daniel Roberts now taking a look. And they will go down now the downhill. He will have the inside. Will he make the move? He is ahead at the moment. Late on the brakes. Hugs that inside line. There he goes into P1. And Estefano as well takes a move on his teammate. These are drivers who are fighting for the same prize. And none of them giving an inch. So will team orders or will this just be racing? It's clean so far. Slightly goes on the grass. Nobody ran anybody wide. Edwin Valerino now looks in behind them. And it's just waiting on his move. Taj Edwards as well. Now he gets his chance to look and watch and hound and wait on his moment to shine. As he's now fighting right beside David Tuta, the Colombian. And the two are close. That gets so nerve-wracking. But Taj looks like he gets away. Miguel does hold on for the foreseeable future between himself. Miguel now being, my apologies, Felipe. They made the move on David Tuta, their countrymen but not teammates, as they head down now into the final corner. Inside line does go to Felipe. Felipe holds that line. He does teach coaching out there in Colombia. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get faster and you live in Colombia, reach out to him. Rapid driver in real life, rapid driver on the sim. He retakes P10. Taj Edwards now will be running away, trying to catch back up to the drivers in front. Vincent Da Silva now, P13. He's now chasing the likes of David Tuta and Juan Jose Aquez. And there you see it. David there holds the line. One look to see if you could make a move. Vince now, ooh, why did I hear a crash? Who was that? That's Daniel Marino again out. Two GTP drivers in Ramiro and Joel Santamara as well, fighting for glory. Kimani Eastman moves up into P16. Kurt Moss, P13. He started in P28 or P29 if I remember correctly. What a move for him. Almost in the points. Points do go up to top 15. But yes, what a race this has begun.
Fastest lap of the race, Daniel Roberts holding P1, followed by two Trinidadians. But let's see what the Colombians have in store. They are now currently running P6 and P7. What's your thought on that?
Well, the thing, what we saw earlier was the two didn't want to give an inch. But it looks as if Estefano is just waiting on his move. He's not trying to rush it. He's being very patient. He capitalized on race one. Now he doesn't want to make a mistake, especially with his teammate. But you see him there just sitting in the slipstream of his teammate, just waiting. And there you see it there. Miguel Beltran does go off track. Will have to concede some time or gets a penalty. And there you see it now. Estefano stuck right back there again, right behind his teammate. The pressure was placed on his teammates. So that's the thing. They are together, but hey, there is a top step prize at the moment, and that's the driver prize, and that's what the drivers are fighting for. And right behind them as well, Taj Edwards sits in P9, just right behind this line of traffic. right behind the Panama driver. Edwin Valerino was one of the the Panama champions in sim racing, so he's not somebody to look down on. Trust me, you will see him coming for glory slowly than surely. Estefan, I think he's just waiting on a move or a moment to just make that move on his countryman. But right now, Declan Daniel, one of the cleaner drivers that we've ever had here, even in his own community over in TRC, very patient, doesn't rush, waits on his move. Freddie Rodriguez, we used to have him in ACC in the Copa del Caribe Championship in 2023. He dominated even the likes of Kurt Moss. So you can see how the tide has changed. And we've just grown as a unit. But yeah, this has been a very brilliant start here to start. And Kurt Moss now moves up into P12. More points for him. Lost out in the first race. Just wants to get as much as he cuts through and through. He's not too far from P10 as a matter of fact. About 3-4 seconds with traffic in front. Who is that though? That's Miguel Beltran. That's Dominic Charles being hounded by Freddie Rodriguez. Or the other way around, but now it's 2 versus 2. As they head down into the final corner, it's 5 drivers basically. What a battle this is turning out to be. Taj Edwards just waiting on his moment. That's Declan Daniel, lost out the most. He lost about 3 positions.
Wow.
Felipe got 3 in 1.
What a move.
What a move. And it's not over. Taj is being hounded. Well, tried to make the move on Declan. And does have the ID line though, but we will be late on the brakes. Ooh, that looked close. Ah, that was a little bit scary, but the brown pants were worn for a reason. Let's take a look at the likes of the Panama driver now. Wow, what a battle this has been. As a matter of fact, we'll even take a look at P27 because the 2 Ken racers in Kimani Eastman and Nathan Brown were fighting. Mikhail Charles came through to split the 2. Has the pace. We'll be trying to get through. Ooh, what's happening there? Oh, my apologies. I thought I saw Dan Robb dropping down the grid. But luckily he is fine and safe and good to go. However, Miguel Beltran and Estefano have moved up into P4 and P5. Dominic Charles relegated down now into P6. So he lost about 3 positions. Freddie moved up 1. Estefano and Miguel now, they're just waiting on their moment. I'm assuming there's going to be a battle on the last lap between the 2 Colombians in Miguel and Estefano. Not going to send any desperate moves, but if he sees a move there, he will take it. Freddie did go defensive to hold off that final podium position. You know, Rohit, what this reminds me of? Is Mario Kart. And Estefano holds like a green shell, and he's trying to send that green shell. Oh, and the 2 Nova Racing drivers! Oh my God, and Dominic Charles as well. Oh my God, that's Tash Edwards and Kurt Moss that get through. Oh my God, and I guess that is a commentator's curse. I am so sorry. But the green shell or the blue shell was sent. And that is heartbreak there.
Actually, his teammate took him out.
Yes. My word, Jaden Harrison is in P15.
That's a good defense by, what's his name, Valerino?
Yes.
That was good defense.
Yes.
Of the teammate to take out the other. Wow. You need to look at that replay. Check that replay.
Let's see what had happened there, because, oh my God. Well, I'll go to it in a second because Felipe Yield is looking like he's trying to size up Declan Daniel to head up into P6. He's alone. Well, he and David Tooth are the lone Colombians. But yeah, I did find the incident. Let's see if we can catch it. And that is hard. Two Colombian drivers. Just take one more look at it before we go back live. He was going for the move. Defense from Valerino. And Beltran just went back on the inside. Didn't see his teammate. And the two made contact and took each other out. What a drama here in race 2. And there goes Felipe Yiel taking a look now, trying to see if he can make the move on the likes of Declan Daniel. And does make the move, moves up a position, moves into P5. Felipe now just making his time. He will be, this reminds me of round 1 of Chase for Pace. When Estefano and Felipe basically took race 1 and race 2, but it was a flip. Felipe actually lost out in race 2 and Estefano won out in race 1. Now it's the complete opposite, and that battle was going to be between them two. It looks like it's going to be again between them two this season. Whew. Wow.
Seems like Felipe Gil would be the one to beat. Right now, he's the top place driver in the grid. I think he will be coming away with some massive points at the end of this round.
Well, absolutely, because Daniel finish out to the points? He did in about P8, P9. So yes, you're right. Felipe will be the championship leader at the end of this race. Keep in mind, however, that there are 2 drop races. We have 4 paid tracks and 4 free tracks. So anything, it's a long season. We have 8 rounds to go.
There's a battle between first and second.
What's that?
Battle between first and second.
Oh, the battle. I don't think there's much of a battle at the moment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The battle right now is between P4 and P3 for the final step of the podium. Freddie went defensive, holds off from Edwin Valerino. And keeps and maintains his position here. Wow. Rohit, should I even ask you your thoughts, brother?
Right now, I'm amazed by the action on track, and we're trying our best to get all the action, but with this many drivers, it's really hard.
Trust me. This has been an interesting evening of racing. Jaden Harrison is in P14, so he will leave with some points here this evening. But obviously not what he expected.
Yeah, we were not expecting that. Kurt is now in top 10.
He and his teammate.
Also, but
and guess
what come back from them?
We have about 8 minutes remaining, 7 minutes remaining, let's say. And Felipe Yiel is fighting right now with Edwin Valerino. Edwin did go defensive. Doesn't make sense to rush. You already have the most points in Felipe, but I don't think he should just leave it up for P5. Get as many points as you can. You have the pace. You're picking them off one by one. This is how it is to be a driver too. Be patient. Make your moves. Wait on driver mistakes, especially on a reverse grid battle. As we see him there, just chasing. Taj Edwards not too far behind, but he's just waiting. And again, the blue shell or the green shell can come out at any point, but you see him there honing the likes of the Panama driver. Does take it. That is not the place I thought he would have made that move. And he does move up into P4. Felipe Yiel saw the space, went for the gap, and now chasing down for the final step of the podium. Freddie Rodriguez right in front, my apologies, will now see the likes of the Nova Racing driver in front, behind him.
Colombia versus Dominican Republic.
And Panama right. And guess what? Jamaica is right there as well in Taj Edwards. Just waiting for anything, any mistake right now. But he right now is at the mercy of whoever is in front of them. He does take a look on Declan Daniel in front, but continues on. is Felipe again. Does take the long way around. Maybe just trying to send a dummy though to try and make him go wide. Will he try the same move in the same place? That would be absolutely brilliant if he could do it twice in a row. But no, not at the moment. As you see, Felipe there is looking and chasing and waiting on his moment. Ooh, and there he goes wide. Felipe Hill does make the move. Moves up a position. Freddy Rodriguez now relegated 2 positions. And Declan Daniel as well, trying to see if he can gain a position from what the mistake was. Ooh. Now Felipe Hill will be on the podium. And at this point, 4 seconds up the road with 5 minutes remaining. I mean, anything can happen, but Felipe right now, man, I'm in a dominant position.
You know, that's the pressure from behind. He knew that, you know, one mistake coming out of the corner, Gil would get him. So, you know, pressure.
Absolutely. And here's a battle that we didn't expect to see because Jaden Harrison is now in P10. Just made the move on Vincent Da Silva. We'll go back to the top 5 in a second, but we just want to see what's happening here because Dominic Charles as well and Daniel Marino, all of them making a second race here as they're chasing each other. Daniel, rapid driver we saw in the first race, and we can expect him to be a challenger for the season. He won a Porsche Cup iRacing Championship, if I remember correctly. I can double check it. But he did. I know he's one of the faster drivers as well to look out for. So do remember the name, Rohe. This is going to be an interesting season.
Definitely. Next race, what track?
Monza is race 2. We are doing the Curva de Grande layout, so that's the one without the first chicane. But still, nonetheless, a very nerve-wracking track to say the least.
Monza, that's my favorite track actually. Should I race next week?
Maybe might as well. You might just have to. Because tempers are going to be flaming at the end of this evening's race between some of these drivers. But, you know, one thing I can say, that commentator's curse with the blue shell with Estefano and Miguel, I am extending my most sincere apologies there to Estefano. But wow, what a battle this has been.
You know, I think Jamaica needs some reinforcement next week. So,
so one thing I can say is the Jamaicans don't take losses lightly. So by the young person's terms, I'm expecting everyone to be sweating this week.
and knowing, you know, the likes of Jaden and Kurt, Taj, those guys will be coming strong next week.
Absolutely.
But look at it, top 5 different countries. It's a good
6?
showing.
Top 7, as a matter of fact. Oh,
7.
sorry. No, there's 2 Trinidad drivers, but still, close enough.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, and that's Freddy Rodriguez. I'm blaming that one on you, bro. I looked away for a second. But that does promote Kurt Moss into P7. Jaden Harrison, I'm guessing as well, will be able to move up. With a minute remaining, that's going to be a heartbreak for the DR driver in Freddy Rodriguez. But Taj Edwards, as well, moves up into P5. And during the replays, we will take a look at all these incidents just to catch back up to whatever we missed. So please stay with us. But my word, man, what a race this has been. That's Nicholas Donald as well in P24. Thought I saw him moving up a little bit there. What's happening here? Oh, okay. Yeah, so Rohe, it's leading up into the final few seconds as Dan Robb will have one more lap of racing as he starts the final lap. We have white flag racing in only a moment's time. What an evening of racing it has been. Daniel Roberts started in P2, made the move on P2, so he does at least get to capture back some good points here. It's full points in both races. But right now, Felipe Yield looking very promising, and Peter Arundel will be very much so in P2 at the end of this. Jaden Harrison moves up into P9, so you're right, you called it that he'd make it into the top 10, and his race is now over because he's chasing David Tuta. So let's just ride along board with that. We'll catch back Daniel in a second before he crosses the line. We don't want to miss it because he comes through the final chicane. We'll just continue to watch this one. Taja Edwards as well, right on the board of Declan Daniel. But that being said, Daniel Roberts of Team Jsra comes around the final corner to finish off this race in P1. Peter Arundel finishes off in P2. Jaden Harrison still hounding the likes. Takes a look on the inside as they come to the final chicane. Sorry we're missing the other drivers, but he does move up into P8. Jaden Harrison. But let's go back. Felipe Yield finishes off in P3. Edwin Valerina in P4. Taja Edwards P5. Kurt Muss, damage limitation in P6. Declan Daniel in P7. Jaden Harrison in P8. David Tuta in P9. Freddie Rodriguez Mira. Pain for him. That incident earlier finishes off in P10. Vincent Da Silva in P11. Dominic Charles P12. Daniel Marina as well. Damage limitation at least leaves with some points. Shannon Dotton in P14. Juan Jose Jaquez finishes off the points positions in P15. Mikhail Charles. Good time to crash. Finishes off in P16, right outside the points. His teammate in Julian Narcisse finishes off in P17. Joel Santamaria P18. Gary Otero in P19. Kimani Eastman in P20. Rich Dio in P21. Javier Brandao P22. And again, we finished off with 26 drivers. Kavan Thomas Green in P23. Nicholas Donald moves up 2 positions. Finishes off in P24. Nathan Bryan P25. And Jason McPherson in P26. We have the top 3. We're going to have the cool down room in a moment's time. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. No problem. And ladies, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin back with the interviews. Now we'll have Miguel Beltran to start, followed by Peter Arundel, and the winner. Well, not the winner, but the man who is leaving with the most points on assumption right now is Felipe Yield. We're trying to get through to Estefano, so hopefully we can get him as he won race one, and Dan Robb as well. But we'll get to that eventually. But we're about to get started. Just give us one more minute as we do the final preparations. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we now have the likes of Miguel Beltran had a brilliant race one, to say the least. Had a little bit of a incident there, or a lot of bit of an incident there with his teammate. But we're about to get started with the interview. Miguel, can you hear us?
Yeah, good night.
Good night, brother. Again, first of all, let me just say, awesome race. The beginning of race one, just how you picked the drivers one by one and just took them out, and finishing off on the podium was absolutely epic. But we do want to start with the qualifying. I think you started where? Was it P6? Was it?
Yeah, I
Ye-
was at pick six.
Yeah.
Uh, was not great qualification. I expected a better time. Just I did a miss in a corner, but yeah. So I in the start race I just keep very quiet and wait for the opportunities. On the top for the first race. Yeah,
Well, it was. I mean, again, the qualifying caught me a little bit off guard. I thought you'd have gone a little bit further up, but as you said, it caught you off guard as well. I mean, the question everybody wants to go to immediately is that incident with you and your teammate. At first, he was right on your rear bumper, and he ended up. I think you ended up going wide into the grass. Could you explain what had happened there? Did you feel like it was pressure? Did you feel like it was just just the heat of the moment? What were your thoughts on the original battle before the incident?
I don't know. I was for me. I think it was necessary. Uh, we were fast than the cars ahead, so you just wait. We can pass of both of us. So I think it was necessary fights, and I think the last part was a race incident. The car had just go to the right, and I just when I was started going to the left, he put the noise in my left side, so he hit me and just finished the race.
Uh,
But I think that's a race incident.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear the pain in your voice. We did think it was one as well. I mean, the stewards will look over it at the end of the race, but nonetheless, it was a brilliant battle. I mean, even seeing
Yeah,
the two of you from P10, and you guys were coming from last, and you're just coming through the field one by one up until that moment. I mean, it did add to the dramatics, obviously, but it was sad to see you at the end of the race so quickly. But after round one, what are your thoughts so far on the on well, on both of the races?
yeah, but was very fun and just a shame that the final part, but always was very fun and yeah, I expect there are better results in the next race.
Well, Miguel, it was epic to have you, bro, and looking forward to seeing the battles come up with you and, I mean, even your fellow countrymen and teammates as we continue on into Monza next week. So keep your head high, bro, and looking forward to the battles to come.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
Thank you too.
See you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Noble Racing driver Miguel Beltran. We are going to have Mr. Peter Arundel next. Let me drag him in for the moment. And ladies and gentlemen, dragging over Peter now. Peter, good evening. Can you hear us? Just double checking. Mic check.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Peter, good evening, brother. Very interesting
Good
evening of
evening.
racing, to say the least.
Yes, it's some quite chaotic races. I saw a few incidents ahead of me in the first race that I was able to avoid, which put me into 10th in the end, with one person in the second to last corner on the last lap of race one,
Yeah.
just getting sideways. I was able to secure that 10th place, which put me on pole
Cool.
position for the second, which really I think helped me a lot in that second race.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
well, you answer my next question because I was gonna ask if it was slightly strategic to finish up in
Uh,
P10.
well, I was in 10th and I saw Daniel behind me coming up, and I was like hoping and praying that I would hold on to the 10th place, so at least I would start the second race in a good place. And then when he got past, my hopes were kind of dashed. But then that incident on the second to last corner, my
It
prayers were
gave.
answered, I guess.
Well, my next question now. At the start of the race, Daniel was very aggressive. Went for the move early. What was your thoughts there? Did you actually want to fight him? Did you want to let him go and maybe just try to pull away from the pack and then fight him later down?
uh,
What was the strategy there?
I think I was running a little more conservative setup, so I knew I was down on straight line speed, so going down that straight, I knew I probably wouldn't have a chance of
Uh,
holding him off. And then I was thinking, well, hopefully once he got past, I'd be able to stay with him in his draft and try to pull me away from the pack behind,
yeah,
which worked for a couple laps, and then he got too far ahead. But then I think they were fighting a lot behind, and that kind of slowed everyone down,
right.
which gave me a large gap. And then few laps at the end, Felipe got past, I think it was Edwin. Oh no.
It was Edwin and
Yeah. So when he got past, I thought, all right, I have I think a 3 second gap. Hopefully I can hold this for the last three laps, but I'm just try to focus, not make any mistakes. If I lost a little bit of time, I wasn't too worried about it. I just wanted to make sure not spin by overthinking it.
yeah. Well, final question. I mean, you had a few run-ins with your countrymen. I wanted to call them your teammates, but Dominic and Mikhail now racing with 7 Mile Racing. How did it feel fighting against your countrymen? And I guess teammates, but not necessarily teammates for this championship in particular. How was that? How was that battle with you and Declan against the two Charles?
Well, definitely it was definitely interesting. I didn't want to, as it's my first race in this car, especially on this track where it's so bumpy and this car really doesn't like the curbs. I didn't want to do anything too risky. So
Yeah,
where I might have gotten a little bit of an overlap, I said, you know what, let me just back out, stay with them, and if they make a mistake, I'll go for a move. But unfortunately, that first race, they didn't make too many mistakes, and normally when they did, I was too far behind to
to
capitalize on it. So
capitalize. Well, man, it was
yeah,
an epic race nonetheless. Congrats. P10 did bear
thank,
fruit. And then P2, you leave. I think you would be in P2 at the end of this, but we'll tally the points.
oh,
Look at the penalties, etc. But you should be about P3, P2, P4, somewhere around there. So congrats
yeah,
with
that's
a
a
huge haul of points to start the season.
thank you, and thank you for hosting this series. It should be quite fun, the entire thing. Lots of great tracks and tricky cars, which leads to some exciting racing.
Thank you, bro. I'm looking forward to it. If it's anything to do, like round one, we're possibly going to have maybe a sponsorship from Halls or so. Uh, but we'll see how that goes, bro. But thank you for joining and
Yes,
looking forward to seeing you and
and
your team come out for round two.
yes, okay.
All right.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you
Okay,
too. Bye.
bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Peter Arundel of Calypso Racing Community. I'm looking in the group now, not seeing any of the Colombians. It looks as if they may have left. But right now we have Daniel Roberts of Team JSRA Alpha sitting in the commentary booth. Daniel, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Dan, you didn't put on your camera by chance, did you?
No, I don't. I don't have one. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Well, yeah, I'd have to set it. It's
Yeah,
too
next
big.
week is fine. Don't sweat it up, bro. Well, the
Yeah.
first question comes from the co-commentator. He questioned why you have a Canadian flag and I'm calling you Jamaican, and are you more Canadian than Jamaican? I'll leave that to him uh, to
Yes.
question.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question. When I made the account, I was like, I'm still in Canada right now. I lived in Jamaica 19 years, like my entire life. So all my family's still there. But I don't know. I was in Canada, so I just put Canada. That's
Uh,
kind of like, yeah.
you're
I don't know.
you're Jamaican. I would say you're Jamaican. You grew up Jamaican.
Trust me,
So
bro.
please kindly change that flag to Jamaican, please.
Alright, I'll see what I can do about that. Yeah.
He is a patriot, but nonetheless, brother. Race one. We want to talk about first day qualifying. For you, what were your thoughts on the qualifying session? It was, I mean, you and Jaden both did faster. In the practice sessions all week. Do you think it's a conditions issue, or was it just the 3 laps you just got caught out? Could you give us a little bit of insight there?
Yeah, so lap one obviously it's never gonna be fast. Lap two is okay. I was fine with that, given how the state of the tires. And then lap three is obviously the push. I didn't get the best exit from my second lap onto front straight, so that lost me some time. And then into the first turn, I basically just didn't trail brake enough. Like just messed up my lap essentially. I was just like suboptimal kind of everywhere. And yeah, I think I would have probably been like, I think definitely like a very conservative 10th. Uh, I would say, and yeah, I'm not sure if I'd have been pole, but definitely I think top three was in the cards for qualifying. It was quite disappointing, but what
Uh,
can you do?
well, nonetheless, you're still fighting through the pack. There was an incident. I was trying to remember who it was with. Um, that ended up with you basically running out of the race. Let's say. And you had to fight back. But can you walk us through that first original incident?
Yeah, so I had a run on him into the first right-hander, and then I knew he was gonna defend on inside, so I just let him run wide, and then I knew I knew from the start how I was gonna go, and I was gonna dive on inside. Realistically, I didn't need to dive as deep as I did, and also to yeah, I dived a bit too deep. I just missed apex a little too much. I should have angled the car towards the apex more when I slammed on the brakes. But yeah, it was just kind of unfortunate. Like obviously, yeah, he turned in. Like I don't necessarily 100% blame him. But to me, I just don't get how in that the orientation of the car is how I end up spinning. I'm on the inside and he's on the
Yeah.
outside, and then I like that was just like awful. Like, I guess the physics makes sense somehow, but I just feel like I got bad luck there. And then obviously got some damage, trying to fight my way back, and then yeah, just kind of yeah. Unfortunately, I think I'm a very clean driver, and then I got in a few incidents. Both of them I feel like I can explain. Like, it wasn't like anything malicious or necessarily wholly me to blame, but things happen.
Right. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some discussions throughout the week as we're heading to round two. But then we're heading to race two now. Uh, I'm guessing your thought process was make a move early and run away with this. What was your thoughts on that early move on Peter, and then after that it was just I want to say smooth sailing, but it's a Porsche Cup, so I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, like I kind of knew I had more pace than Peter, so I knew I was gonna get past him eventually. He didn't really put up a fight, which I think was smart on his end. And yeah, like it's kind of boring if you're just in a lead and like not pushing, because you know you can lose focus. So I was just pushing, and you know that's how you saw I got the fastest lap. Also, just for street cred, if you want to call it that.
The Max
And
Verstappen lap.
yeah, and
Kurt,
then I almost lost it a few times, but you know it was all
God.
fun in the end.
Well, bro, I mean, congrats. You did leave with a good haul of points nonetheless. It was unfortunate, so sorry. From race one, both. As a matter of fact, we have you here, your teammate. I saw you were in the Discord with him just yet. Did he give you any indication of what had happened with him?
Uh, no, we didn't really get to do a play-by-play with it, but I obviously saw it. You know, it seemed like both parties were pretty, I would say, definitely overly aggressive given the timing of it.
Yeah.
Uh, like, yeah, and then yeah, there's another car involved. You know, uh, yeah, I kind of wish he, obviously, you know, I want him to do well as well, kind of more than me sometimes. So, you know, I kind of wish he just probably dialed it back a little bit, but you know, hopefully we can bring all the points home in the following races and you know, beat these Colombians. It seems.
Right, and that leads to my final question now, because you saw the competition now firsthand. What are your thoughts on the battles that you have coming up?
Yeah, I definitely think the Colombian drivers will be a good good competition. I don't necessarily think they're anything groundbreaking. I think Daniel Moreno probably, well, actually, maybe his lap in the practice was with the draft. But you know, I was impressed with that lap, and I thought that was. But then when I saw his quality lap and his race pace, I didn't necessarily think it was groundbreaking. I'm definitely gonna put in a few more laps in the following races, given that the competition is more stiff than I maybe would have foreseen, and then hopefully that will result in better results and us winning the championship at the end of the year.
Well, bro, I'm looking forward to round two next week as we head to Monza. Any final thoughts before we go?
Well, I guess apologize for the instance I was in the first race. It's not how I drive. So yeah, just I guess misunderstandings between the drivers and involved. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna be gonna use this as a learning lesson in terms of like how you know, because basically what happened is they didn't necessarily react to my car positioning as I would have expected
Yeah,
essentially. So you know, I'll adjust that moving forward. So yeah.
absolutely, man. Looking forward to uh the next few rounds as we continue this battle. Good luck, bro, and thank you for joining, and thank you for being here with us this evening.
Oh yeah, thank you for hosting. I look forward to the remaining rounds.
Hey, bro, looking forward to having you with us. So
All right, man. All
yes,
right.
thank you. All right, bro. Later. Rohi Robinson, that does bring round one to an end. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think definitely after this race, the rivalry, the rivalry has strengthened, I think. Um, as you can see, tempers are flaring already between drivers. So I'm not expecting it to die down anytime soon for the next remaining round. So more action, I would say.
Well, the only question I have for you now, you see the names on the board. Any early predictions? Is Colombia going to
Uh,
take it? Is Jamaica going to take it?
I think, as Daniel stated, he didn't expect the competition to be so good, I think. So he said he's going to focus more. I do believe him. I think he'll focus more to get the results that just the team needs. Jaden also, I think, based on what happened this round, he's going to come back stronger next. So I'm looking forward to seeing an increase in pace.
Absolutely. And you heard Daniel say it himself. He didn't expect as you just said, he didn't expect the competition. So this is gonna be a fun next week of practice. as the drivers continue on. Seeing some drivers messaging me right now that they were not happy with certain things and they want to come back with vengeance. So this is going to be the start of the rivalries, as you said. I am looking forward to it. To in the I mean, to just be nice about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward. We have 7 more rounds to go. We head to Monza next week, Ritskogen for round 3, and then Daytona in round 4. We'll take a 1-week break after that, as we have the final 4 rounds. But again, a huge thank you to our sponsors at S Hotel. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Emmanuel Boutique as well, our partners in GT Panama and Nova Racing Store. They've been absolutely integral to the growth of this grid of everything that you're seeing here at the JSRA. So we have to give them their props. To thank everybody who came on board, and a huge thank you now to our co-commentator in Rohir Robinson. This was your first ever attempt at it. How was it for you?
Difficult. My brain was all over the place. Too much action, I would say. It's hard to focus.
Oh Lord, man.
But yeah, I couldn't have done what you did today. So hats off to you, Stephen.
Bro, my head is big already and it's bald, so please no more gaslighting. Is that what the young people say? Anyways, thank you so much, brother. It was a pleasure having you, and I'm looking forward to many more rounds as we continue, unless you're gonna go back onto track, because I think you saw the action. I think you missed it a little bit today.
Yeah, I do miss the action. I wish I was there actually, but it's iRacing. Let's see.
Let's see, brother. Well, with that being said, this does bring this stream to a conclusion. We're 3 minutes over. Thank you guys for joining and being with us on a Friday evening, and we look forward to seeing you. We'll have 2 practice sessions. One will be streamed on Monday. The next will be on Wednesday. That you can catch live on our Instagram at jsraofficial. We have it shown right now up on the on the stream. Right there at the bottom of it. You can follow us for any information if you want to join us. All of the links to the Discord, the Instagram, the YouTube, all of the links are there in the link tree in the description. So we've been your hosts, Rohit Robinson and Stephen Stewart, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next week as we head into round 2 at Monza, the Curva de Grande layout. We bid you a good night and an amazing weekend. And that brings us to the end of another wonderful race weekend. We thank you for joining us as the drivers put on a show, fighting for the top step of the podium. But we will see you again next week as the drivers return for the next round. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you the action, the drama, and all the battles here at the JSRA. Huge thank you to our sponsors, S Hotel, who without them none of this would be possible. And a grander shout out to our Lord Jesus Christ, who without him none of this would be a thing. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful evening and a great night.